Hello, friends, and welcome to Before the Wheel. Today, we are joined by Ajay Sharma, who, after a long time, has found time to come on our show. Ajay Sharma, how are you?
I'm doing good, Aman. So, in fact, I wanted to be the first one
Yeah, I remember that.
because I remember how you started this, and I so interested to become the first person to come on this show. But somehow,
So, ideally, Ajay lives very close to my house, maybe around 100 meter or so, and we have been planning this for quite some time that you should come to my show. But anyway, you are here now, so welcome back.
hmm
So I know you from last 5 or 6 years.
yes,
So we used to work in the same company, in same team basically, and I used to, you know, see you drawing paintings in your room, and from that point, almost like a couple of years later, now you have your own studio in Bangalore. How did that happen?
it's been quite a journey. It
It
was
was, it
it
was.
was little challenging. It had its own ups and downs. I chose software engineer because uh, that was something which I didn't want to.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
but somehow I
yeah,
ended up here. But
yeah.
I felt like this was something which was meant to happen. Art was something which was already me. Software was which I acquired in this life.
Yeah.
So what happened? I was always inclined to art, always inclined to do different things related to artistic things. So when I came here, I saw a lot of opportunities. I saw like there are people who appreciate art. There are people who actually values the art.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when I saw that, when I saw that potential, I thought maybe I can start my own studio one day. This thought started almost like maybe 3 years back. Then
Yeah.
I created my Dimensional Studios.
Yeah. So just to give a brief intro about Ajay, and I will try my best to do that. So you are an artist, and you do painting, you do sketches,
Yeah.
you do tattoo making, and you are in some quite high level stuff which I don't understand. Like you are into
Mhm.
mental healing, and you are into that higher vibration stuff, which I'm still struggling to understand. So let's go one by one. So I know at least a couple of people in my life
Mhm.
who are into art. I know they sketch a lot, they paint a lot, but this hobby was confined to one room, or maybe there maybe once in a while they used to do. But you took that hobby, or your passion, I should say, onto the next level, and you broke that barrier,
Mhm.
and you are one of the few person whom I know that they are following their passion and making into their profession.
Yeah.
So can you just give a bit of detail how exactly you jumped from that guy painting in his room in confinement and now having your own studio in Bangalore, which is I must add is a quite an achievement for someone who has no pedigree, or maybe no godfather in the industry, or nobody to help, if I'm not wrong. So
Yeah.
how you reached this place?
First thing is you should be clear what you want to. I was
Mhm.
very clear that I always wanted a studio. I was clear 5 years back that if I'm not in Bangalore, I'll be in Shimla,
Yeah.
where I'm from.
Yeah.
So I'll have my own studio in the hills,
Yeah.
and that's how I wanted to be. But somehow, because we need finances
Correct.
to do our dreams, and this place was something which gave me a lot of opportunities for this.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of people who helped me out in this, a lot of guidance, a lot of motivation, which helped me to go through this.
Yeah.
So I tell you one thing, uh, there are different levels of accessing the information.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
if someone tells you like, okay, you're a good artist, you do so many things, that is just an information.
Mhm.
So for me, I got a lot of information from people like, okay, you do such a good art. Why don't you start your own thing? Why are you working? Or why don't you do something
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
on your own?
Yeah.
This was just an information for me that point of time. The next level of this information is you get an insight out of this.
Yeah.
So you meet people. So
Yeah.
you get an insight, oh, I can do this. I can do that. So this insight I got almost 3 years back. So when I got this insight that, okay, I can start my own studio, I started with my small room.
Yeah.
So it was more like I projected an online work. I made my own Facebook page. I made my own Instagram page where I used to promote my stuff,
Your
website.
Yeah.
That's how it started as the insight. So
Yeah.
the insight started taking the manifestation. So the manifestation was like I started getting the orders, I started meeting more people, more artists, and this insight got into actions.
Yeah.
So the actions were, oh, I need to become big, I need to become more smart,
Yeah.
I need to meet more people, I need to take this art as a business.
Yeah.
Not, there'll be so many artists in this world who just know how to make a good art. I
Correct,
know a lot of
correct.
artists who are better than me. I know
Mhm.
a lot of artists who do great job. I don't have any judgments for those who do lesser art, but those are the one whom I appreciate.
Yeah.
And I was like, they lack one thing. The one thing was the art of business. So if you can integrate the business with the art, that's where the action started.
Okay.
So this action when I took to create my own studio,
Yeah.
I met those people who were into business, who were into mentoring, who mentored me how to do the art with the business, how to do the business with the art.
So you
And that's how it
yeah.
transformed.
Yeah. So you met these people through, you know, some friends or some conferences. How you met those people who actually guided you to, you know, reach this point? I'm sure you had your own ideas. I'm sure, but
Mhm.
what changed? What make you think that now is the time for you to invest heavily and make it to the next level and have your own studio? Because it needs a lot of time and resources and energy,
Yeah.
and obviously it needs a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
So now you are working, still working, I guess,
Yeah.
and you have your this other thing, your art studio.
Yeah.
Apart from that, and
Yes.
how you are balancing those two stuff, and because this is quite an inspirational story for anyone who
Mhm.
has a dream and they want to follow their dreams, and how they can achieve their dreams, especially as an artist. When in country like India, where people do not understand art,
Mhm.
okay, to people who are into art and they want to make it big, what kind of advice you will give those to those people?
Okay. So how I ended up was as a software engineer when I started.
Yeah,
So that was more like a cash project for me.
correct.
So it gave me money to do something
Yeah,
which I wanted to do
yeah,
without taking anyone's help.
yeah,
So I got this insight that maybe let's do this as my cash project.
okay,
So I started working as a so that I can get the cash.
yeah,
And there was a second part of it which was the dream project.
yeah,
And the dream project was to make up my own studio, to make
yeah,
my
yeah,
own
yeah,
thing which is something bigger than work.
yeah, yeah,
So I saw it as an opportunity to make it true. So how my journey started as an artist was earlier I used to copy. I used to copy
work.
either a painting by someone
Okay.
or either a painting by someone who has already done it.
Yeah,
So this was the first level as an artist. So I tell to all my other fellow artists also, like this is your journey and see it as your own journey. When you're copying someone's art, then you're learning the stuff, then you're learning the techniques.
yeah,
The next level to the art is when you paint something which comes from your mind,
yeah,
which comes through your own imagination. When you're not seeing the things outside, but you're going inside
mm-hmm.
to see the things. So I started practicing meditation, I started practicing yoga, I started practicing different methods to open up my mind. That gave me some inputs on how to create different stuff, how
Yeah.
to create different realities. And I remember when I started my studio, I didn't have a name for it. I was searching for a name. So it started with AJ Tattoos and Art. It was like, okay, AJ Tattoos and sounds cool,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not something which will make me a worldwide visibility.
Yeah,
So I was thinking about a lot of things. I was into knowledge of dimensions. I was into knowledge of
yeah,
different realities. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, we know different dimensions. We know different realities. Let's do something which is dimensionless. Art
Correct.
can be something which can go across the
Cross
dimensions.
correct, correct.
So any person who is visual, if they can appreciate, it's an art.
yeah,
So it's like the art can be in a beautiful painting, the
Yeah.
art can be in a beautiful architecture, the
yeah,
art can be in a beautiful a person.
yeah,
It depends on different levels. So
Yeah.
that's how I started seeing the art.
yeah,
And then I was like, okay, I have this information now, let's apply it into the actions.
yeah,
Then I started learning more about those things.
yeah,
And once I went through, there was no stop.
yeah,
So this dimensionless studio, the physical presence of the dimensionless studios is in ACS layout. It's from past 4 months now.
yeah,
And the conception of this idea, it started at 4 years back. So
Yeah.
that's how it.
yeah. So I know because you paint a lot, but I know you're a busy man. You have orders from a lot of people. You
Mhm.
go to restaurants and hotels to paint there to their walls, and some live paintings. But
Mhm.
how often do you paint for yourself? Like, I want to paint something for myself, which you think, oh yeah, okay, I will paint this. Not because someone asked you to do,
Okay.
something which,
There's very interesting part to it.
yeah,
So there are two aspects of making art.
yeah,
So sometime you get an order
yeah,
and you paint that order.
yeah,
Sometime you want to paint something which makes you feel happy and you would love to do that.
yeah,
So the first part is when the person is very rigid, okay, we have to do this only. So I have a team. I tell the team that, okay, there's one work. We have to work on this idea. We'll develop that idea and
Yeah.
we'll deliver it to the client.
Mhm.
And the second part of it is when I would love to do that part.
Yeah,
I'll create that idea. I'll convince my client that this will be the best idea for this and my expertise is in this.
Mhm.
So we work around that idea
yeah,
and that's how I paint for myself during that time.
okay,
It is not
Okay.
something, it is not something which it's like a job which I love.
yeah,
It's not something which I do for like making money and I'll just take up the order and I'll even for tattoos. There are a lot of people who come for tattoos. They are like, okay, we want to make this, and I tell them like, okay, do you really want this? I have a questionnaire for them. This will be something which will be permanent for life.
Yeah.
Are you really committed enough, or are you really smart enough to have this thing for the lifetime?
yeah.
So then once I go through all the questionnaires, then I give them the best piece of art which they can have for lifetime and they cherish it for the lifetime. So that's how I do a work which I love,
Yeah.
and I transform even the order so that I start loving that order.
Yeah, yeah. So people don't give you the exact, idea of painting. They just give you the idea that I want a painting which would
Some are
look,
clear.
some are very clear. Like
Some
I
are
want
clear.
precisely this thing, exact this thing.
Yes.
And you can't do anything much about it.
Yeah.
So that some people will give you just an idea. Okay, I want a painting which I can, put in my living room, which gives a happy feeling, a vibrant feeling.
Yeah.
Did that happen?
So basically, a lot of people ask for paintings which provides happiness, which provides a joyful environment.
Good vibes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's how a lot of people see art.
Yeah.
They want to create something beautiful in their space. They want to create. A lot of people are not in that zone yet where they understand it fully,
Yeah.
understand the depth of the meaning of the art.
Yeah.
But at higher level, they just want to have a happy space. They want to have a happy place.
Yeah.
So that's how a lot of people get these kind of paintings and art.
Yeah. So you also make tattoos, a lot of tattoos, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
So a big section of my work is tattoos.
Yeah. So how long you have been making tattoos, and how you learned making tattoos at the first place?
There's a very funny story about how I started tattoos was.
Mhm.
I started tattooing temporary tattoos. I was
Okay.
in college.
Yeah.
We used to have college fest. I was making tattoos as a fest because a
Okay.
lot of people were interested to have a body art on them, but they didn't find anyone who could do that. So I
Mhm.
used to do the temporary with the paints and all. And one day I was like, okay, I've learned this part. I learned this thing and it no longer excites me. So what is the next level of this?
Mhm.
I remember I bought my own tattoo machine. I didn't know how to assemble it.
Okay.
And I saw YouTube, I saw a lot of videos, and I started searching of even some people who can train me, who can teach me. So I remember going to a place and they were charging like bomb. And I'm like, okay, I can learn, I can buy my own stuff and I can learn on my own.
Mm.
So then I started practicing on the fake skin, and there are a lot of tools which we can use. I used to correct a lot of bad tattoos because I was already an artist. So I had that grip.
Okay.
I had that grip of how to make or correct the things.
Yeah.
So I started correcting the bad tattoos.
Oh, it's a thing. People come to you
Yeah,
to
it,
fix
it was like
tattoos.
it was like very shitty tattoos. People will go and somewhere and they'll make,
Mm.
and they'll regret it. I still know one person who didn't show his biceps because he had a very bad tattoo.
My God.
And when I gave him and I tweaked that tattoo for him, he was like, "Thank you, brother. This is the first time I'm showing my biceps now," because he was a bodybuilder, and you can imagine the pain of a bodybuilder
My God. Yeah. I'm
without
sure,
showing
I'm
the
sure.
biceps.
I'm sure. So people mostly, have tattoos and they come back, they want to correct it. How often they want to erase it?
Erasing is little challenging because it'll cost them 10 times more.
But it's possible, right?
It's possible, but it'll cost them 10 times more.
Mhm.
So it's a very smart process to tell them, or very genuine thing to tell them that
Yeah.
if you want to have this something like this, make sure you don't regret after getting it. I still remember one guy who had his girlfriend's name on his back, and the
Back.
on the back,
Okay.
and that girlfriend left.
Okay.
And then I had to tell him something which is very funny. I told him that, like, just write Jai Mata on top, so it'll look like a it look like
Devotional message or
yeah.
something like that. Okay.
So there are a lot of things. One part is like when you understand the concept. Like I have 2 to 3 tattoos which are very deeply connected to me. I see them as a lifetime commitment.
Hmm.
Whenever I see my tattoo, I feel like I'll be more like that.
Hmm.
I have a lot of spiritual tattoos, a lot of tattoos related to meditation. I have a portrait tattoo of my mom and dad, which connects me to them every day. I don't have to feel. So that's more of a feeling based when you are making something which is very deeply ingrained in you.
Right. Right.
So if you see tattoos, this is one thing you have to be aware of. It is a lifetime commitment.
Yeah. So how often do you make tattoos now?
Earlier it was more on and off because I was working. Now almost daily I get some queries,
Okay.
and because I don't do instant tattoos.
Yeah.
I don't do like, okay, because you are here and I don't have to leave you.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you are here, you are at my my den, and I'll have to grab you. I don't do that.
Yeah.
So I gave them an idea. I gave them an idea of, okay, this is something which is very precious thing,
Mm-hmm.
and a piece of art which will be there for you for the lifetime.
Yeah.
So I gave them a questionnaire. I gave them for all the process. I give them all the ideas, all the website which they can access to for the designs. Then I tell them, if you have something, tell it to me. If you find out something which is very interesting, tell it to me. Either I'll modify it for you, or I'll create something which is more smarter than this. So that's how they get more connected to me, because they see the genuinity in making, not the. So this, I tell them it's a process. You should not just get up and let's go for a tattoo.
Right.
It's a process. I have seen people who are my very good friends. For 6 months we waited. For 6 months we waited to discuss. I discussed thoroughly their personality. I understood how they were, what were their likes, what were their dislikes.
Mm-hmm.
Based on that, a design which is purely for you.
Okay.
And that is something which is very unique.
Okay.
And you have to see the happiness on the face of that person after getting the tattoo. I have seen tears in their eyes.
My
It was
God.
like, it was so connected to them. I was like, this is my job.
Yeah. So just like, paintings, there are a lot of people who don't understand tattoos,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very tough for them to, know exactly this thing will be there forever. This
Yeah.
small painting will be there forever, and it's like tough to, it needs some courage and some heart to, have a tattoo, especially in the place where you have it's always visible. And there are a lot of I would say stigma to it, especially in a country like us where people see it as an not very polite way to have something which is not very.
If
no,
you see,
it doesn't.
if you
it's
see
very-
tattoo, if
yeah.
you see tattoos, it's there in the humanity since inception.
I'm sure.
We
Yeah,
were getting it. Earlier
yeah.
days, the tribes, they used to have their own tattoo marks.
Yes,
They used to
yes.
have their own markings.
Markings throughout the body. Yeah.
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 If someone used to go and kill,
yeah.
one marking represented one tattoo. One kill.
One target. Yeah.
So that's how the tattoos were deeply enrooted in us.
Yeah.
Later on, when it got commercialized,
Yeah.
a lot of wannabe tattoo artists,
Yeah.
they started their own thing without taking the proper hygiene, without giving the proper. I in fact, 2 days back only, one guy came with a very shitty tattoo. He had all the scabs on his hand, all the dirty patches on his hand.
You mean infection? It was infection.
It was.
Oh.
And I told him, like, why did you get this? He was like, there was one guy, he was my good friend, we were drunk, he wanted to practice on me so that he can practice his
Yeah.
own work.
Yeah.
I was like, no, dude, not, that's not how you do it. So there are a lot of people who just want to be without taking any proper learnings, proper classes, proper. Even I started, but I had this feeling that I don't have to spoil something.
Yeah.
I don't have to do something bad.
Yeah.
So even when I corrected tattoos, I made sure that the tattoo becomes a good piece of art,
Mhm.
not something which the person will regret. So there are a lot of people who just want to do it
Yeah.
just for the sake of earning money, because it's a quick buck. If you just make one tattoo, you can easily earn 2 to 5,000 in just
Okay.
half an hour to 1 hour.
So it depends on the size or the complexity.
It depends.
Okay.
It depends how much effort we are putting. It depends on how much energy we are putting into designing that.
Yeah.
Either it can be a copied work which people have liked it, and
Okay.
we don't have to design anything.
The exact replica.
Yeah, exact
that.
replica.
Okay.
And sometimes it is more like when we understand the person. Like
Okay.
for 6 months, we decided, okay. And that's how the price goes up and down.
So do you charge for that duration when you were discussing that
No,
idea? Okay.
it's more like a free consultation so
Okay.
that the person gets the best.
Okay. Okay. And how often do you get people who say, I just want to have a tattoo, but I don't know what kind of tattoo I want to have?
I get quite a few.
Okay.
There are a lot, but as a part of my own thing,
Yeah.
I don't do just like that. I'll still tell them, okay, this is just a thought. Okay, just be with this thought.
Yeah.
Come again after 1 week or come again after 2 days.
Okay.
Let me see if you have the same thought, because
Yeah.
our mind tendency is it changes every 2.5 days.
Yeah.
So the same feeling you can never ever replicate after 2.5 days until it's very deeply.
Yeah.
So if it is a very deep emotion
Yeah.
of making a tattoo,
Yeah.
it will be with you for those 2 days or 4 days. So
Yeah.
then I'm like, okay, let's make it. Let's do something which you always wanted to.
Okay. So you take time to,
Yeah.
understand their,
Yeah.
their needs and what
Correct.
they want to do exactly.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. So I have lot of questions regarding tattoos.
Okay.
First of all, why there is so much, like we discussed, there is stigma around it, especially when you go for a proper job in the organized sector.
Mm-hmm.
People are quite, hesitant to, hire guys who have tattoos, especially
Mhm.
visible tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they are maybe a bit uncomfortable around them. They feel they are not very serious about the work. So why there is this kind of, attitude towards people who have tattoos? Why is that so?
So I tell you my perspective. It can be different.
Yeah.
It can
Yeah.
be something, because I worked in a professional environment
Yeah.
as a software engineer, and I worked as an artist, which is
Yeah.
like totally opposite of that.
Yeah. Poles apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you are working in a professional environment, they want to be like this. They want to do this, do this, do this. Start the work, do the work, finish the work.
Yeah.
In art thing, it's like you can do anything.
Yeah.
Like you can be like anything. You can be whatever version you want to be. You can change your hair. You can be whatever you want to have. So when you see the same thing, a set of mentality in the professional thing, they'll relate you with the same thing. Okay, you might be very unprofessional in your work,
Yeah.
or you
Yeah.
might be very unworthy of not finishing the work, because earlier days it was more like the hippie culture which started.
Yeah.
They used to get a lot of tattoos, drugs, and that's how they related it.
Yeah.
And those people who were into jobs, they were into, so this mentality it carried on till 1960s to till now.
Yeah.
But now when people are actually having the tattoos, I have seen a lot of managers who came to me for tattoo.
Okay.
And then I asked them the same question, don't you feel like it will hamper your work? They say it's just a tattoo. It's just a
Yeah.
piece of art
Yeah.
which is there covered. We
Yeah.
can cover it up anytime. So a lot of organizations, they allow tattoo, but they don't allow the visible tattoos. The visible tattoo can be either on the hand, either on the neck,
Okay.
or some places where it is visible, where people don't judge you based on the tattoo.
Yeah.
So it's on their own personal experience that those people who have tattoos, they are more rebellious, because
Oh,
they are
okay.
doing something different than the normal person, because it needs a crazy mind
Yeah.
to have something like that, because it's sometimes it's hampering. If
Yeah.
you go to a person who can temper your skin, only a crazy mind can do that.
Yeah.
Who will put your hand in a person's hand, who will either make a piece of art for you, or who will temper it for you.
Yeah.
So that craziness is still ingrained in the mind,
Yeah.
and those craziness is related to making a tattoo. That type of craziness is related. So if you see an organization who tells about not having a tattoo, they are only keeping that type of people separate, who are rebellious,
Yeah.
who will go rebel against the against their normal structure. Okay,
Yeah.
why do we have to follow 9 to 5? We can do our work anywhere. Why don't you give us work from home option? We can, as long as we are finishing our work. This is the type of mentality
Yeah.
sometimes these people have. And just to eliminate, or just as a precautionary thing, they say tattoos is bad. So in fact the tattoo is not bad. The personality who is getting is either good or bad. Even
Yeah.
without getting a tattoo, a person can behave the same way.
Yeah.
It's very normal.
Yeah.
Like it's the mind which is different, not the tattoo.
When you used to work in your office, do you feel that you used to get judged by people?
I
Because-
had a tattoo which was deeply meaningful to me,
Okay.
and if someone was affected, I don't think so they have told me directly. And those people who knew me, they knew what it is.
Okay.
So personally, I didn't feel it that someone felt offended by it,
Yeah.
because those who felt, they didn't bother to me. They
Yeah.
didn't matter to me. And those who matter to me, I explained them what it is, and they loved it for.
Yeah.
In fact, in my company, they used to me know, all the managers, all the director, they used to me know more as an artist than a software
Yeah.
engineer.
Yeah.
I used to create designs for them. I used my knowledge of art, expertise in the technology. In fact, we created one book, the artistic guide for learning things, for
Yeah.
learning things fast. So I cannot promote tattoos in office.
Yeah.
So
I'm
I
sure.
promoted the art in office,
Okay.
where I still remember meeting the CTO of the Capgemini, and he was so much interested in the art, because Capgemini is a French company, and he was so much interested in the art, the way I present the things in form of the artistic designs.
Yeah.
It was something which impressed him, and with his inputs, with his ideas, along with my teammates, along with you were also a part of it,
Yeah.
we created one book, The Artistic Guide to Big Data Hadoop,
Yeah.
and that created a change. I used the same for my different company. I told them we can use something like this.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we need to show a smartness,
Yeah.
even in a company where tattooing is seen as different, or the art is seen as different.
Yeah.
So you need to be very smart how to use it in your own favor.
Yeah.
I did that, and I guess I was little successful in doing that. So a lot of
Yeah.
people after that from my company, they came to me because they wanted to get a piece of art for
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I think people are quite open about it. You
Yeah.
know, about people having tattoos, and people who are now, I think in offices they are open to people who have tattoos. They are quite now. Now I think the entire attitude is a little bit changing, but still, that thing is there.
The
So-
biggest part is the hygiene.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that it is like going to a doctor, a skin doctor.
Okay.
So we need to wear gloves. We need to change the we need to use a disposable tip, disposable needle.
Yeah.
We can easily infect people just like that if we don't take care of the hygiene.
Yeah.
So a lot of times the hygiene part is something which people see,
Yeah.
and if they don't know any person who can provide them the hygiene,
Yeah.
they get scared. Like there was a myth that tattoos can tattoos can promote AIDS or HIV
Oh.
or these kind of diseases, hepatitis B.
Oh.
It is true at certain extent, but if you go to any doctor, you can get it,
Yeah.
because if the doctor is not professional, if he is using the same needle on a different person, even a hospital is dangerous then.
Mm.
So people unwillingly, unknowingly, they got these kind of disease from hospitals also.
Oh.
So as a tattoo artist, I have to be a skin doctor also,
Yeah. Yeah.
where I'm telling in how many days the skin will heal, how you have to take precautions once you go out, what all things you have to take care, or what all things you have to do once you go out. Because 90% of the tattoo, it is in my hand.
Yeah.
When I can take care of all the things, I can change the needle, I can change the gloves, I can change the cups, I can change all the things that I can dispose of.
Yeah.
10% matters to the person what he does or she does outside the studio.
Yeah.
Then we give them a proper guide, a proper pamphlet of what all things to do once you go out of this.
Mhm. Mhm.
Then it makes more sense to have that kind of thing.
Okay.
So I provide them all the details so that the process becomes very smooth
Mhm.
for future also.
Yeah. So, how often do you get people who say I had this tattoo, but I am not happy with that.
A lot of times.
Then how do you deal with those people?
First I ask them like, okay, who was the artist who made it for you?
Okay. Maybe if they came to you
Mhm.
and you made something on their
Yeah,
skin,
it happens.
and they're not happy with the result, how you deal with those?
What happens is usually a tattoo is a snapshot of that time.
Okay.
It is a snapshot of your consciousness at that particular time.
Yeah.
If you are into gymming, if you are into these kind of bodybuilding, you might get something which is very muscular, which is very strengthening, or a coat which gives you. At different time, when you are being different, the same thought can change you, and the tattoo will start making you feel like, okay, this is not what I wanted, or this is something which I didn't like,
Yeah.
and now I don't like.
Yeah.
So we can do either modifications to that. The same tattoo can be redesigned to something different. So see tattoo as a snapshot of that particular time.
Yeah.
They might get bored of it. I have seen a lot of people, even if I made them, they'll get bored of it. Then either I'll tell them to, okay, make one more, which will make you feel more
Yeah.
interesting
Yeah.
for that duration. So it goes on and off how
Yeah.
they behave.
So what is this thing about tattoos that it make them so unique and special?
Mhm.
People have known for doing things to their body from a long time, but still this is something which is like very different and very special at the same time.
Mhm.
So what is that something about tattoos which make it so special and unique that people who love it, they love it to death, and people who don't like it, they don't like it at all? And so what is that thing about tattoos that make it so unique?
It is a lifetime commitment.
Yeah, it's like
This is one.
permanent. Yeah.
This is one thing that even if you want to remove it, you cannot remove it
Yeah.
unless you go to a professional skin doctor for that.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I can think of is, if you are really strong-willed, if you are really, you know what you need, it tells you about your willpower. It tells
Yeah.
you your willpower for that particular time.
Yeah.
If you have that for that particular time, if you have that commitment for yourself
Mm-hmm.
for at that particular time, you will get it. So that's how I have got mine. That's how I've given to other people. And that is what has helped other people to be more open towards the tattoos, be more
Mhm.
open towards this form of art.
Also, I feel that people who goes for tattoo, they are so much sure about that idea or whatever they want to make tattoo about, or maybe a
Hmm.
name, that they feel that it's a form of expression for them
Mm-hmm.
to tell other people, to tell themselves that yes, this is something which I believe in, or maybe this is someone I love,
Mm-hmm.
and this is not going to change forever, and this is will be with me till I die. So
But I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of tattoos which they're like, okay, you are the only one for me, and I'll get your name
yeah,
done.
especially about those loved one, I get that, but like people who get tattoos,
Mhm.
let's say about their parents, their mom, like that, like you have one tattoo, uh, like which signifies your love for your mom. So those things remains forever.
Yeah.
Correct. But yeah, like you said that when you get into other stuff like love life and all, those things might change. So yeah, that things can change, but mostly people who are quite sure about their
Then we can always modify the tattoo.
yeah, that's always there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one more thing which I wanted to ask is that, uh, except your tattoo making and your painting, what else do you do in your studio? Because I have seen you doing a lot of
Hmm.
seminars, lot of sessions, and I tried to attend a few, but I couldn't. So what else you do, other than your painting and your tattoo making?
So if you see my studio, it is what is there in my mind. It is what you can literally see my mind in my studio. So it is
Okay.
the expression of my own self in the studio.
Yeah.
So when you came to my place, like 2 years, 3 years back, you saw all the things what I was.
Yeah.
So the studio is exactly the same replica of my mind. And how I have, like, I was into science, I was into spirituality, I was into art. So I tried to create a blend of all the things.
Yeah.
Because for a person, for the overall being, you cannot have all the three things separate. If you are a scientist, you need to be spiritual. If you
Yeah.
are a spiritual being, you need to be little creative. So the art, you can see it as a creativeness or the
Yeah.
craziness. So this studio I have created as a blend of science, spirituality and art. You can see a lot of automations. You can see Alexa controlling all the lights, Alexa controlling all the things,
Yeah.
and you can see the infinity room, which
Yeah.
is like which you have not seen anywhere in the world, because it is something which is very simple yet very complex.
Yeah.
And in fact, in some 2 to 3 months of time, you'll see a different form of art which you have not seen till now,
Okay.
which the world has not seen till now.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there is one form of art which I'm developing right now. It is still in the inception process.
Mm-hmm.
It's already formulated in my mind, but this will be something which the world has not seen yet.
Okay.
So this is one. Along with that, we do a lot of meditations, a lot of sound healing therapies, because all these things are a blend which cleanse your mind.
Yeah.
So if you have a clean mind, if you have a different style, then you need to have that particular type of vibration surrounding you.
Right.
Because I was more into spirituality, more into meditations.
Yeah.
So a lot of artwork that you'll see will be based on meditation. Will be based on the positive things.
Yeah.
Will be based on dimensions. So I try to incorporate all that in my studio.
Yeah.
So see the studio as an experience center
Yeah.
where you can see all these kind of things, and definitely you will experience a total different world when you'll be there.
You mentioned something about sound healing.
Yeah.
How does that work?
So it's a quite interesting thing. I got one person who was into sound healing and therapies.
Okay.
Uh, I met him and he introduced me these kind of things, and I was always aware of the vibrations,
Yeah.
but we could never feel the vibrations. That sound healing, we use bowls, singing bowls, and a different type of music because it's a vibration.
Yeah.
If you see, working on them, it can cure the mind, it can heal the mind, or it can actually heal the diseases.
Yeah.
And we are using in our studio to for our sessions, for our art sessions, for our art therapies, where the sound healing is helping to cleanse the mind first and then create a beautiful piece of art.
So is it a form of meditation?
It is a form of a vibrational healing when the vibrations goes into your body
Okay.
and they align your energy system.
Okay.
So because we all have different type of levels of our beings.
Yeah.
So one is the physical being when we are physically here, and one is the mental, like the mental
Yeah.
plane or the mental or the etheric being.
Yeah.
So there are different planes of our own existence. The physical existence you can cleanse by taking a shower or by going something
Yeah.
or by gymming. You can create the physical part of it, but the mental part of it, the mind related part of it, you can only heal with the sound or the vibration or the visuals.
Mm.
When uh, we are engaging all our five senses in cleaning the whole system.
Yeah.
So doing physical exercises is the physical part of it,
Yeah.
is the touch, the physicality. When you see the art, it is more of the visual. With closed eyes, you cannot see the art.
Yeah.
So you need to see, you need to have good vision for appreciating an art.
Yeah.
You need to have good ears or feeling of vibrations to feel the sound healing and vibrations.
Yeah.
So it's an overall combination of all the five senses, which I try to incorporate using my own expertise. So
Okay.
this is one part of the studio.
So do you play some music, or do you have some instruments to play that music?
So I
How-
have some instruments which are tuned to a particular frequency of our chakras.
Okay.
So there are different bowls which are tuned to that particular frequency.
Are they like metal bowls or
Yes,
like?
they are handcrafted metal bowls
Mhm.
which vibrates at a particular level. If it's based on the tuning fork effect of physics.
Okay.
And if you hit it with a striker, it will create an effect of vibrations which vibrates at a particular frequency,
Okay.
and that particular frequency has the same frequency of our own energy system.
Okay.
And when it so see, it has two vibrations, one vibration your body is generating and one vibration which is outside.
Yeah.
And when those two frequencies meet with each other, they create a harmonious vibration.
Okay.
It's a chapter in physics also,
Mhm.
like how different waveforms, when they meet, they create either a distorted vibration or a harmonious vibration. If you go into a traffic, if you hear all those noisy sounds, it will create a
Yeah.
distortion in your own mind.
Yeah.
And if you come for a session for this sound healing, it'll create a very harmonious pattern in your own mind. So it
Mhm.
is like accessing your alpha, beta and theta waves without going to sleep. It
Yeah.
is more of a conscious learning of your own self.
Yeah. You mentioned about meditation. So how often do you meditate?
Earlier I thought meditation was something which I need to do
On a daily basis?
on a daily basis.
Okay.
I used to meditate a separate hour for it. I had like a schedule for half an hour for it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got to know about one profound thing. It was like meditation is not something that we do. Meditation is a state of mind.
Mm-hmm.
When we do certain things to achieve that state.
Mm.
When we are always in that state, when we are always learning, when we are always in that happy state of being,
Yeah.
or in an more like an aware state of being.
Yeah.
So it can be your increased awareness.
Yeah.
For me, meditation is the heightened awareness.
Yeah.
When you are aware of everything and you don't react based on the outer things, you react based on how you want to react.
Okay.
So meditation is, for me, is more like a state of mind. So I can say now that I'm always in the meditative state.
Okay.
Because I'm the one who chose to be,
Okay.
to either be angry or to be sad,
Okay.
or to be happy or to be bad.
Okay.
So see it like this. So this is my point of view again about the meditation.
Okay.
Whatever we do is a form of meditation. If you sing and if you enjoy that singing without disturbing anyone, it is a meditation. If you paint for yourself, for creating a beautiful environment, that is a meditation.
Yeah.
If you dance, and if you dance with your all your expression, and if you express fully, that is a form of meditation. Even this podcast, it is a meditative state of mind.
I'm sure it is.
when we are discussing about things which can actually change
Yeah.
people in a very creative way.
Yeah.
So whatever things you do is a state of mind, and that state of mind is a meditative state of mind or a distorted state of mind. And at Dimensional Studios,
Yeah.
we create a happy state of mind where everything is in sync. When you're
Okay.
not reacting on outside world, but
Okay.
the inside world. So this is one part of it.
So let's talk about meditation. You meditate, like you say, you're always in meditation. You're always in that mode. So when you actually meditate,
Mhm.
so how do you meditate? You meditate on a point, or like you don't have any thoughts that time. So for me, how it was explained to me that when you meditate, they are no thoughts.
Mhm.
It's like null.
Mhm.
There's nothing, and this is how I understand meditation.
Mhm.
So do you meditate like on some point, or do you meditate on some god or some power?
Mhm.
How do you meditate?
So to answer this question, I'll give you the inside view of my brain, like
Okay.
how I think,
Okay.
or what all things I think when I do that.
Yeah.
So earlier when I started meditation since like when I was in 8th or
Oh.
6th, 7th, because that point of time my parents were religious.
Okay.
They used to tell, okay, do these type of chantings, do these like say Om Namah Shivaya, keep on
Okay.
repeating that. At that point of time I didn't really understood what it is. For me it was more like of okay Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. That was more like repeating things without knowing,
Yeah.
doing things without understanding. When I got this awareness that it is creating a vibration in me, I was a small kid, but I knew it is creating a vibration in me. Then I got to know that okay, it is not the words which is actually changing, it's the vibration behind those words which is changing.
So when you say vibration, is means it has an effect on you
Mm-hmm.
on a different level, not on your physical level.
It is more on the mental level, it is
Mental
more on
level.
the
Okay.
it's more on the mind level.
So just like when you chant Om, there is
Mm.
vibration behind it.
Yeah, so
Chant
if you see the vibrations behind the thing that you do,
Yeah.
or the intention behind the things that you do,
Yeah.
that is what will take you to that state of mind.
Okay.
So by just not repeating those words will not give you that.
Okay.
So this part I understood. Even I tried out different forms of meditation, which by imagining nothing or doing the void meditation. Then I got to know that if I'll die, then only I'll stop thinking.
Okay.
I was trying a lot of not to think. Then I like more and more I stop not to think, the more thoughts will come to me.
Okay.
So it is not something which is very simple to do.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got to know that maybe it is the wrong thing that we are teaching or we are learning from different people.
Yeah.
Then maybe it's their form of learning, maybe it's their way of learning. So I always roamed around the forest, I lived in a forest, and for me to connect with the nature was a form of meditation.
Mm-hmm.
To listen to all the birds chirping and the sound
Mm-hmm.
of the trees, that was which created me into that state.
Mm-hmm.
So at what particular time where you are, what you can do to relax your mind is a meditation state then.
Okay.
So then I started thinking about, even if I'm in a traffic, what all things I can do to be calm.
Okay.
What all things I can do to not to be in that state of mind when I'm angry on something.
Yeah.
Either I'll start thinking about something which is a happy moment,
Yeah.
or I'll start thinking about. So it is more of a conscious thought. So like breathing is something which you can relate to. Either you can breathe just like that, or you can have a conscious breathing about yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
The same conscious breathing becomes pranayama, right? So the same conscious doing becomes the karma,
Okay.
becomes the actions. So if you do consciously things, that becomes a meditative state of mind.
Hmm.
The conscious doing is the key, according to me, for the thing.
Hmm. So now that you have said that you don't meditate on a point or on in null,
Mm-hmm.
and you are always in form of that meditation, if someone like me wants to start meditation,
Mm-hmm.
so on that point, before that we discussed that, I have seen your studio, and there is a small chamber room-like structure, which is basically a room,
Mhm.
small room full of glasses, and which you call it infinity room.
Yeah.
and I've seen you, spending a lot of time there in that room.
Hmm.
And of course, whoever have visited your studio, it is quite an attraction. People are always, happy to see it and use it. So it's a small room.
Hmm.
It has mirrors all around,
Hmm.
and you use it for meditation. So, and you said that it has lot of other, applications. So can
Yeah.
you tell more about that?
Yeah. So that is the dimensionless room that I call the infinity room.
Yeah,
You can actually feel the infinity when you'll go inside.
yeah,
So, as I said, the studio is based on three basic principles: science,
yeah,
spirituality, and art.
yeah,
So, I use the scientific knowledge of the light,
yeah,
the physicality of the light, how the light can create an effect
yeah,
of the infinity. So, I place all the mirrors
yeah.
in a way which all are at 90 degrees, and I place those lights with the help of my friends. They were good in the light
Mhm.
work. So, that effect created a infinite effect, and once you go inside that room, you will be in that present state of mind.
Oh,
You'll not be able to think about your past, you'll not be able to think about your future, but you will be so mesmerized by that particular moment of being there,
okay.
that it creates the effect of, like, you'll get to know about the time. Like, time is something which I have spent so many hours inside it without even knowing that, okay, it's almost like 5 hours already there.
So that normal physics rules
Mhm.
are not applicable there. Is that
It's
so?
more like you'll see the normal physics from the top of the world,
Okay.
and then you'll realize, okay, we are into a simulation, we are into a thing which is not bounded by time. It is not bounded by something which we already know, because time is something which we have created to
Yeah.
keep
Yeah.
ourselves into the room. So this infinity room will make you feel all those things, because as if I tell you the art perspective of it,
Yeah.
when we sketch something, we sketch a 3D object onto a 2D plane.
Yeah.
We sketch a figure, and you'll be able to see the figure,
Yeah.
but you'll not be able to see the 3D image of it.
Yes.
So same way, if you see the physics behind it, it is a 3D room,
Hmm.
but it will create an illusion of a fourth dimension.
Okay.
It is like, have you ever seen the movie Interstellar? That
Yeah. Yeah.
at one point of time, the guy goes into the tesseract,
Yeah.
where he can access past, present, and future. So it was not the gravity which was telling that. It
Yeah.
was the person itself who went into the different time zone,
Yeah.
different dimension, where he is able to access the whole time, the past, present, and future. So this is more like a replica of the fourth dimension,
Yeah.
where you can see the infinite possibilities,
Yeah.
where you can see a lot of things, but you are just stuck in one. You're stuck in just one time. You are able to see yourself in all those infinite possibilities. So this is the scientific part of it. And the meditative part of it, spiritual part of it is, if you're standing inside the infinity room,
Yeah.
there'll be a replica of you everywhere,
Yeah.
because it's an infinite thing. And once you see all those things, I got this beautiful insight. Maybe if anyone who is listening, they can also use this insight. So I was seeing myself in all the mirrors. I saw my infinite self. I saw all till the end. I was not able to see till the end. And then I realized, if I have to change this aspect of me, or that aspect of me which is behind me, or which is the nth aspect of me, I have to change it from here.
Mhm.
If I change my looks, all the aspects will change.
Right.
All the images that are presented, it will change. So it all starts from here. So this beautiful insight I got inside the infinity room, when I was into that room and I was able to see all those things. And those people who have came to the infinity room, there are different levels. You can actually see the consciousness of the beings who come to the infinity room. Some people will be taking selfies because they are so much into the physical world.
Yes.
They'll be taking a lot of selfies, they'll be taking a lot of pictures, they'll be like, okay, wow, this is so nice, so cool, I love this place. Some people will come and they'll close their eyes and they'll feel the place. They'll say like, okay, I feel good here. I am able to feel different light forms, and it is changing my mind. If I'll apply a red light in the room, it will create the infinity of the red light. If I'll create the stars effect in the room, it will create the infinite galaxy view of the same thing. If I'll put up some random pattern, it will create the random pattern infinite times.
Yeah.
So when they get indulged into that infinite pattern, they're like, okay, wow, I'm feeling good by just being here. I have spent a lot of time because I loved it. But I've seen other people also who came just like that, and they spent 2 to 3 hours, and we had to say like, okay,
Enough.
we are closing this now because we
Yeah.
are having a session. So, and the third set which comes is, they come with the intention to meditate there.
Okay.
When they actually go inside, they sit, we play nice music for them, either it can be a nature music or a sound, which, or we play the bowls, and those bowls, when they go inside, when they ring inside the infinity room, they create the infinite, because every glass is reflecting back the sounds, and that creates the effect of the emptiness that you're talking about. Sometime, to know the emptiness, first you have to feel the emptiness,
Yeah.
and that place can make you feel the emptiness for that particular duration of time, and you can take back that experience in your own home, and you can be with that experience and be in that meditative state of mind, when you're not consciously meditating, but you are in a meditative state for the whole time.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Thanks for doing this. I know you're doing a lot of stuff, and we can talk about your stuff for hours, and still we won't be reaching anywhere near the list of things which you're doing. And thanks for doing this, and I think we should do this again. I hope there are a lot of things which we can discuss, especially about the vibration part, which I still don't understand, and the other stuff as well. So thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.